everyone, welcome back. So you can see I changed the look a little bit. I wanted to kind of have fun and match the stories. So skulls today, which y'all don't know this, but I have a lot of skulls in Halloween clothes because it's fun. I like the dark stuff a little bit to go with the Disney. So hopefully this tale is nice and dark but fun. It features a character that most of us have heard of. I said to give today's try is going to be Clever Gretel from the Grimm Brothers again. So let's get into this one, shall we? There once was a cook named Gretel who wore shoes with red heels, and when she went out in them, she whirled this way and that way and was happy as a lark. "You really are quite pretty," she would say to herself. And when she returned home, she would drink some wine out of sheer delight. Since the wine would whet her appetite, she would take the best things she was cooking and taste them until she was content. Then she would say, "The cook must know what the food tastes like." One day, her master happened to say to her, "Gretel, tonight I'm having a guest for dinner. Prepare 2 chickens for me and make them as tasty as possible." "I'll take care of it, sir," Gretel responded. So she killed 2 chickens, scalded them, plucked them, and stuck them on the spit. And toward evening placed them over a fire to roast. The chickens began to turn brown and were almost ready, but the guest did not make his appearance. So Gretel called to her master, "If the guest doesn't come soon, I'll have to take the chickens off the fire. It would be a great shame if they weren't eaten now, while they're still at their juiciest." "Then I'll run and fetch the guest myself," said the master. When the master had left the house, Gretel laid the spit with the chickens to one side and thought, "If I keep standing by the fire, I'll just sweat and get thirsty. Who knows when they'll come? Meanwhile, I'll hop down to the cellar and take a drink." She ran downstairs, filled a jug with wine, and said, "May God bless it for you, Gretel." And she took a healthy swig. "The wine flows nicely," she continued talking, "and it's not good to interrupt the flow." So she took another long swig. Then she went upstairs and placed the chickens back over the fire, basted them with butter, and merrily turned the spit. Our cook might have a bit of a drinking problem and enjoy talking to herself. She seems kind of fun. So let's see what trouble she gets into, huh? Since the roast chickens smelled so good, Gretel thought, "Perhaps something's missing. I better taste them and see how they are." She touched one of them with her finger and said, "Goodness, the chickens are really good. It's a crying shame not to eat them all at once." She ran to the window to see if her master was on his way with the guest, but when she saw no one coming, she returned to the chickens and thought, "That one wing is burning. I better eat it up." So she cut it off, ate it, and enjoyed it. When she had finished, she thought, "I better eat the other wing, or else my master will notice that something's missing." After she had consumed the 2 wings, she returned to the window, looked for her master, but was unable to see him. "Who knows?" it suddenly occurred to her. "Perhaps they've decided not to come and have stopped somewhere along the way." Then she said to her, "Hey, Gretel, cheer up. You've already taken a nice chunk. Have another drink and eat it all up. When it's gone, there's no reason for you to feel guilty. Why should God's good gift go to waste?" Once again, she ran down to the cellar, took a good, honest drink, and then went back to eat up the chicken with relish. When the one chicken had been eaten and her master still had not returned, Gretel looked at the other bird and said, "Where one is, the other should be too. The 2 of them belong together. Whatever is right for one is right for the other. I think if I have another drink, it won't do me any harm." Therefore, she took another healthy swig and let the second chicken run to join the other. This girl might like some chicken. Then again, so do I. Just as she was in the midst of enjoying her meal, her master came back and called, "Hurry, Gretel, the guest will be here soon." "Yes, sir, I'll get everything ready," answered Gretel. Meanwhile, the master checked to see if the table was properly set and took out the large knife with which he wanted to carve the chickens, began sharpening it on the steps in the hallway. As he was doing that, the guest came and knocked nice and politely at the door. Gretel ran and looked to see who was there, and when she saw the guest, she put her finger to her lips and whispered, "Shh, be quiet. Get out of here as quick as you can. If my master catches you, you'll be done for." It's true he invited you to dinner, but he really wants to cut off both your ears. Listen to him sharpening his knife." The guest heard the sharpening and hurried back down the steps as fast as he could. Gretel wasted no time and ran screaming to her master. "What kind of guest did you invite?" "Goodness gracious, Gretel, why do you ask? What do you mean?" "Well, he snatched both chickens just as I was about to bring them to the table, and he's run away with them." "That's not a nice way to behave," said her master, and he was disappointed by the loss of fine chickens. "At least he could have left me one of them so I'd have something to eat." He then shouted after the guest to stop running, but the guest pretended not to hear. So the master ran after him with the knife still in hand and screamed, "Just one! Just one!" Merely meaning that the guest should at least leave him one of the chickens and not take both. But the guest thought that his host was after just one of his ears, and to make sure he would reach home safely with both his ears, he ran as if someone had lit a fire under his feet. Alright, that one was definitely not as dark as the others have been so far, but I gotta say, they named it right. That was a pretty clever trick to blame the guest on your own eating habits, so it was a fun one anyway. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!